It's 1975. You just won the NCAA championship. Now you're a senior, and your college career is over. Now, of course, the next step is to go, to the next level, the pro level. During that time, ABA was a strong league, as well as the NBA. Give us your feedback on being drafted.
Well, draft day wasn't like it is nowadays with, people in the green room and all that, but it was a pretty exciting. And, I was getting feedback from what teams were interested in me and what teams, were calling and finding out. Again, one of the reasons they were calling it was because I was 6'5", 6'6", only about 175 pounds. So they wanted to know if I was hurt often, which I wasn't. But I ended up getting drafted in the third round of the NBA draft by the Detroit Pistons. And back then there was only 16 teams in the league, so it wasn't like nowadays we have 30 teams. So being drafted, I thought it was a good draft pick. We played. I played against the person that they drafted in front of me. Detroit did not have a first-round draft pick. They had a second and then a third, which was me. And they signed a kid named Walter Luckett, who led the nation in scoring out of Ohio University. And I played against him in college, and I stopped him. So I held him down. So I was real confident. I was preparing for the Detroit camp when the old ABA had its draft, and I went. I was a higher pick in that draft, and I went to the San Diego Sales, the San Diego franchise. So I asked my agent. I said, "Well, there's all this rumor around that the ABA is not a stable league." He said, "Oh no, new money coming in. Don't worry. These are the owners at the San Diego franchise are coming in from Denver, and it's all good." So and on top of it, they offered me a guaranteed 1-year contract. They offered me a 3-year contract, but the first year was guaranteed, where Detroit didn't offer me a guaranteed contract. So I chose to go to the San Diego Sales, which was probably the biggest mistake that I made as far as basketball was concerned, because right before, what happened was the ABA games were held, I think, by CBS at the time, and ABC had the NBA games. Well, the contract ran out for the excuse me, I hope I didn't say CBA, but the ABA games were held by CBS. The contract ran out where CBS picked up the NBA games, nobody picked up the ABA games, so then when they lost that television money, all of a sudden teams started folding. In fact, our team was the first team, the first franchise to fold.
Wow.
So then it was too late because the NBA had already had their camps and everything, so I had to sit out an entire year. Then the ABA folded. Detroit still had my rights. I went to camp the next year, free agent camp first and then rookie camp, and then I made it through veteran camp, but then I got released in veteran camp. And you gotta understand, it was so difficult because you had the influx of not only the ABA guys that were trying to get their jobs back into the NBA, but you had a new group of college seniors that had just graduated that were coming out. Europe wasn't big. There weren't all those leagues, and people weren't going to Europe playing professionally. So it was very difficult, and I just didn't make it.
Okay. Now, do you have any regrets not playing pro ball longer, or give us some feedback on that?
Well, like I say, I think that a couple of things, and it's a mutual feeling with a lot of us UCLA guys. When you go and you have to play with the superstar players, your role becomes limited. It doesn't help your future as far as working on your skills and what it takes to get to the NBA. So I think had I had the goal of going to the NBA, I probably would have picked a lower level team that I could have been more of the big fish in the small pond. But that was a mistake, and obviously not going to Detroit was the bigger mistake. Was at least there they had interest in me. I was their second pick that year, and I felt that maybe I could have hung in the league for a while.